4 o'clock, an air quality alert is in effect tomorrow. Who's under it and how long our sunny stretch continues coming up over the next several days. It's warm outside, but it's July. It's what you would expect. And the great thing is, if you're going out to the pool or you want to get anything outdoors done, you're good for the rest of today. It's not like the weekend where we were kind of dodging those showers all weekend long. 87 in Cincinnati right now. Temperatures are sitting around 83 in Wilmington. Now, when you factor in the humidity, it does make it feel about 3 to 5 degrees warmer. Feels like 87 now in Wilmington. Lincoln Airport feels more like 93, 91 in Batavia, and Hamilton feels like 94. For the rest of the week, we're actually heading into a good dry stretch. Also a stretch of the 90s returning this week. With that too, tomorrow we do have an air quality alert that goes into effect. I'll show you who's under that and when those rain chances start to creep back in coming up. Sheree?
All right, this is
chances. They're keeping at bay for a lot of this week, but they do start to go up as we head into the upcoming weekend. I'll show you the timeline for that and the hot and humid weather headed our way for the next few days coming up. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5 at 4, and we'll be right back.
Allison, it's going to continue this week.
Yeah, this week looks great. If the kids have camp this week, I mean, you are hitting the jackpot with it because the mornings, they're not going to be too bad. The afternoons too. While it is hot outside, it's that typical summer warmth that you would expect for mid-July. 87 right now in town. Our typical high temperature this time of year is about 86, so we're right there. 89 in Hamilton, 88 degrees in Harrison. So far, we're right around 86 in Aurora, 86 in Mount Orb as well, and Blanchester also sitting at 86 degrees. We have high pressure that's helping keep us nice and dry here in Cincinnati. Not too far off though to the south. We've got some spotty showers throughout eastern Kentucky. So that's something that's well to our south and east. Nothing that we have to worry about here. We'll stay dry for several more days. With that though, because we've got the heat and we've got that sunshine out there, very little cloud cover throughout the day tomorrow, we do have an air quality alert that's in effect for Butler, Warren, Claremont, Hamilton counties in Ohio, as well as Dearborn County in Indiana, and then Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties in Kentucky. So for this is for anybody who might be sensitive to the air quality if it does change a little bit. Any of our older groups or anybody else, young children, might want to limit that time outside tomorrow during the peak heat of the day, really and truly the afternoon through the evening. But as far as tonight's concerned, a great night to get out, go to the pool, enjoy. 87 for a little while longer. We'll drop down to about 83 closer to 8 o'clock tonight. If you need to catch up on some yard work, the weekend wasn't super favorable for getting that grass cut or any of the landscaping done that maybe you wanted to do. So tonight, a good night to do that, especially once we get to about 8 o'clock. I do think temperatures are going to be pretty comfortable. So for the rest of this evening, we'll stay dry, we'll stay quiet. You may see the occasional cloud passing by, but for the most part, looks really good out there. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we do have a light wind and a clear sky, so that could lead to some patchy fog developing throughout tomorrow morning. And then for the rest of the day tomorrow, more sunshine is going to settle in. Gorgeous day out there. Again, keep in mind that air quality alert, especially if you are in one of those groups that might be sensitive to when we do have our pollution kind of changing a little bit. But as we head into the second half of the week, temperatures start to warm up. A stretch of the 90s ahead for us, but this is different than what we felt a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, those low 90s were giving us feels like temperatures closer to the triple digits. What we're going to see here for the next several days, not much of a feels like temperature tomorrow. I think it's going to be right around 90 through and through, but then by Wednesday, humidity goes up just a little bit. It is going to be a little bit tropical outside, allowing for it to feel more like the middle 90s starting on Wednesday. Thursday as well, feeling like about 95 or so. This upcoming cast. All right, so temperatures right now sitting at 87 in town. Just gorgeous outside today. A little bit of cloud cover occasionally, but overall really nice. A bit of a wind coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour there. You'll notice that if you go down to the riverfront especially, it is going to be just a little bit breezy, but overall really nice. Temperatures feel more like 90 degrees outside. That's because our dew points are only in the upper 60s, so we're not dealing with that really intense humidity that we had several weeks ago. That's going to be key moving forward this week because we do have a stretch of the 90s returning. But with that, I don't really anticipate to see those really high heat indices reaching into the triple digits. For the rest of this evening, if you have plans to head out tonight, kids have swim practice or swim meets or anything going on tonight, 80s expected. Really nice evening out there overall. So coming up in a few minutes, I'll show you when we start to feel that humidity really ramping up. And then on top of that too, when we begin to see some rain chances trying to come back into our forecast coming up. Sheree? We do have an air quality alert that goes into effect tomorrow. I'll have more on that, plus the summertime heat that starts to ramp up here by the middle of the week. And then when you could expect to see some rain as we head into the weekend coming up. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5 at 4:30, and we'll be back in just a few. outside today. So good day if you've got a little bit of room in that budget to get some ice cream. You know, it's a really nice day. Tomorrow too looks like it's going to be great. Once we head into the middle of the week, it starts to get a little bit more humid outside, but overall, I mean, I still think this week's forecast is going to be okay. Once we get to the weekend, rain chances start to increase a little bit more, but overall still looks like a really nice night across Cincinnati here tonight. And then you've got several more days of this. So good pool weather as we go into the next couple of days. Great weather if your kids have camp or if you've got anything else going on this week. I know the Reds kind of out of town, but it looks awesome outside regardless. So try to spend some time out there. 87 in Cincinnati, 91 in Hamilton right now. Temperatures are sitting at 88 in Blue Ash, Anderson 88 degrees, 90 in Colerain. Keep in mind there's not a ton of humidity out there, but there's just enough that a lot of these upper 80s feel more like the low 90s outside. Heading into the next several days, nice and quiet outside. We'll have that typical summertime warmth, but as we get into the middle of the week, those rain chances, they're going to keep at bay while humidity starts to go up. Can't say the same for Friday. We'll start to see the rain threat going up a little bit more on Friday and then Saturday as well. But at this point, I wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans. If you do have plans to be outside Friday or Saturday, still too soon to say how much rain we're going to end up seeing, how many neighborhoods end up getting impacted by those thunderstorm or rain chances even. But still, it's there. We'll start to see the pattern changing just a little bit as we head into the second half of the week. Here's our air quality alert. So if you're anybody who is in one of those sensitive breathing groups, right? If you have asthma, if you have any other sort of respiratory issues, you'll want to limit your time outside, especially close to the Cincinnati Metro tomorrow during the hours of essentially noon to 8 p.m. So just keep that in mind for tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised too if we end up seeing that get extended into Wednesday and Thursday, just because we'll have the heat, we'll have the humidity, and no rain chances either. So for the rest of tonight, staying quiet outside. I do think there will be some patchy fog that develops early in the morning tomorrow. And then after that, tomorrow looks like a pretty nice day. We'll see lots of sunshine. High pressure helps keep things nice and quiet for us here for the second half of the week, looking really good. And then those temperatures start to warm up a little bit more too. So we are going to see 90s returning beginning tomorrow. And then we're kind of in a stretch of the 90s that carries us into the weekend, at least through Saturday. So for the next several days, looks good outside tomorrow. If you have any plans, again, if the kids have camp or anything like that happening, sunscreen for that sunshine, that's definitely going to be something that I'll think you'll want. But I do think overall it looks like a great afternoon outside. Temperatures topping out closer to about 90. Upper 60s to start the day, a little bit of patchy fog first thing in the morning, and then by tomorrow afternoon, if you want to grill out or anything, really nice outside for 99% of us. There are a couple of downpours that have started to go up across southeastern Indiana here tonight. A little bit of a downpour there south of 71, really impacting areas just outside of Logan. It's moving pretty quickly, but it is leading to a little bit of a heavy downpour out there. No thunder or lightning, though not totally ruling out at least the potential. Springboro, you've got a little shower that's starting to move into town for you. Waynesville, you also have that there, but for the most part, these should be wrapping up here very shortly, just because we've got the sun starting to go down. Looks like they're kind of starting to lose their steam as well. So as we go through the rest of tonight, temperatures are going to stay in the 80s before falling down to the upper 60s. A very comfortable night out there. Coming up in a few minutes, I'll show you when we start to feel that humidity creeping back up. It is so nice out there. Temperatures this morning even honestly felt a little bit pleasant to me, but as we go through the rest of this evening, still going to be nice outside for most of us. I would say about 99% of us, but there are a couple of those light showers that are starting to work their way throughout southeastern Indiana. Falling apart now, but Sunman, you'll start to see some really light rain moving in here soon. Manchester, you'll be just on the edge of that quick little downpour. And then Springboro right now, seeing some slightly heavier rainfall moving through just to the north of 73. You can see 75 starting to see some of that rain as well. So again, light showers, those are a possibility for a very few of us here tonight. I would say for another hour or so, but as we start to lose the daylight and as these storms kind of fade out, I'm not really anticipating seeing too much in terms of rainfall for the rest of us tonight. High pressure is still going to keep most of us nice and dry. Temperatures right now sitting at 86 in Cincinnati. We have 89 in Hamilton, still sitting in the 90s in Blue Ash though. 87 in Anderson, Colerain sitting around 89 degrees. Beautiful sky, that's going to stick around, but temperatures over the next couple of days start to warm up. In fact, tomorrow is going to be day one of a multi-day stretch of 90s headed our way. About 90 degrees tomorrow afternoon for the high temperature. With that, we really aren't going to see humidity going up too much, especially not tomorrow. So I think that 90 is going to be a true 90-degree day where, yes, it is warm outside, especially if you're out in the sunshine, especially if you're not getting any breeze out there. But for the most part, it's kind of what you would expect for this time of year. Humidity does start to go up a little bit as we get into the middle of the week. So then we start to see temperatures in the 90s, but feels like temperatures will be in the mid 90s. Not going to be that triple digit heat index that we had a couple of weeks ago. So that's some good news there. And rain's going to keep away until we get to the weekend. Once Friday rolls around, we'll start to see our rain chances going up just a little bit. Now tomorrow we do have an air quality alert that goes into effect for the Cincinnati metro and surrounding counties. So if you have any sort of breathing ailments, try to limit your time outside, especially prolonged time outside, and try not to be too active outside tomorrow if you possibly can, right? People with asthma, things like that. You'll want to limit your time outside tomorrow just because we've got a little bit more of that particulate matter in our air. Overnight tonight, we'll start to see a little bit of fog developing by tomorrow morning likely, and then throughout the rest of the day tomorrow, looks like it's going to be a gorgeous one. We'll see ample sunshine all day long, and temperatures reach into the 90s tomorrow afternoon. Closer to 91 on Wednesday. That is going to come again with that heat and humidity going up just a little bit. So by Wednesday, starts to feel more like the mid 90s outside. That's going to stick around into Thursday as well. So of course, stay hydrated over the next several days.
Yeah, these are all the big names, right? That you want. There are no underdogs in this. These are all the big name countries too.
Yeah, I have friends in the host cities that are like, I got to figure out what to do with my life now that the World Cup is about to be over.
It's just taking everything over so far. Yeah.
Calming down. Yeah. All right, Allison.
Okay, so we do have a couple little
For now, have a good night.